You know, it's a new year. A lot of people are setting goals. A lot of people are excited. But the question is that did you really and actually leave 2025 and its emotional baggage? In 2025, a lot of people have gotten into the new year, but they came with some baggage, resentment. If you hold bitterness, if you hold unforgiveness in your heart, it causes a lot of damage to yourself. I heard one great leader says, unforgiveness is like drinking poison and expecting the offender to die.
Lifeline airs on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 10 p.m. only on Channel 1 TV.
You're welcome. This is Face to Face on Channel 1 Television. My guest is a former member of Parliament. If I were a newspaper or a tabloid editor, I would say he is an economic avatar or an economic guru. He understands our finances and our economy than many people in this country. He has professed his views in the past and given advice. He was worried his advice was not listened to. He belongs to the Elephant Party, the New Patriotic Party. Now, for purposes of the internal primaries of the NPP, he is on Team Ken, so he's connected from Koforidua. Now, I say Koforidua because that's the constituency he once represented, even though the constituency name in Parliament is New Joburg South. My guest is Honorable Dr. Mark Assibey Yeboah. You're welcome to Face to Face.
Yeah, thank you.
How are you doing?
Doing well.
Your doctor, is it in economics or in finance?
Economics.
It's economics.
Yeah.
So you mean that you're an economic guru, you're an economic avatar.
Yeah.
How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing well. Yeah.
We haven't spoken since the elections. Before the elections, I did an interview with you. I remember some of the things you said. Then you went into the polls and you lost massively. Were you shocked by the defeat, even though you expected that your party was not doing well, things may go bad?
Not shocked because you go into an election and you expect to win, but then there are only two outcomes. Either you win or you lose. And so the NPP losing after an 8-year cycle, if you follow the sequence from 92, all parties had governed for 8 years. And so being kicked out after 8 years didn't come as a shock.
Does it mean that the breaking the 8 is not a possibility?
For once, in 2028, we have a president who might not run again. So then the NDC bringing a new face. Can we call it a totally clean slate, so that it is no longer an 8 for the one who was elected in 2024.
So that you can say that Mahama has actually done 8 anyway. So
yeah, basically.
So it's going to start afresh. You believe that?
Yeah, there's a school of thought that it's an entirely new election, and so everybody should put their best foot forward.
But when your party was trumpeting breaking the 8, could it have, okay, so politically it's possible, but economically at the time, and this with hindsight now, and you don't owe anybody an explanation now, the elections are over. When you looked at the room, you read the grounds, did it look possible, viable for you to win based on every economic indicator available at the time?
For an NPP man, you wanted your party to win, but for neutrals, the middle class, those who had been affected by the economic policies of the time, I think, and if you look at the shellacking that the NPP experienced, the numbers, clearly Ghanaians had made their minds and they wanted to go in an entirely new direction.
Yeah, but my question is that as an economist, did you see this coming? Did you think that was
we had worked with interest rates that were very high, inflation around 50%. It affected pretty much everybody. And so it was a breath of fresh air, that's okay. Let's try something anew. And then, so I'm not surprised the MPP lost. Even in the States, Same thing happened. People brought back Donald Trump because they felt the economy was in tatters and he was a strong man on the economy. So yeah.
So you're not surprised NPP lost, but were you surprised by the magnitude of defeat?
Yeah, the margins. Pretty much in every region, our numbers went down. Save one region, all 15 regions, our numbers went down. And it's not as if the NDC did very well. John Mahama's numbers increased from only 6.2 million to, was it 6.5 million? But we came down from
6.3, I think.
Yeah, we came down. He was at 6 points. We came down. We lost about almost 2 million. 2 million. Yeah. So people are basis. So the middle class, the campuses, the regional capitals. We lost the regional capitals. When I started following politics, we would win places like Cape Coast and Takrady and Sunyani and Tamale. You
lost all of them.
The campuses, the university campuses, they were our fortresses. We would win Legon and Tech and Koforidua Poly, and yes, we lost it. The middle class.
Did you win Koforidua at least?
Yeah, the margins closed, but yeah, it's part of the Eastern bloc, so yeah.
Interesting. So that went really bad for you, and the debate always is, was it the outgoing government that messed up, or the incoming person, or the person who was trying to...
No, I think it's on the head of the NPP in its entirety.
The party, whole vehicle.
The party, the government. So...
what would be the role of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, the former president?
The government. I've heard people apologize for the actions of the government. Even the former vice president has gone around pleading with Ghanaians that they didn't govern well in the last day. So... the government, the party, the campaigns, yeah.
Do you think if people like you were in the kitchen cooking the economy, your party would have done as abysmally as it did based on the performance of the economy?
Let's not reduce it to persons like me. There's a government, there's a cabinet, there's a parliament, leadership over there, a party, They did their best, but the outcome was terrible.
I know I introduced you as a member of the NPP, but I also introduced you as an economist. I want us to look at this thing strictly from an apolitical point of view. What is the state of Ghana's economy now? President Mahama's success, is it something that his government is doing, or it is sheer luck, like someone in your party has said somewhere?
So, look at where we are coming from. The numbers, there's been marked improvement in the economic situation. If you go to any country, let's say if we went to Venezuela right now, or if we want to look at Venezuela, we'll look at their indicators. You don't need to travel there. If we took Greenland as a country, we'll look at the economic indicators. So same would apply to Ghana. If you want to assess the state of the economy right now, you look at the economic indicators.
It's interesting you're choosing Greenland and Venezuela of all examples. I don't know what you're up to, but is Donald Trump sending you to go and check whether they are doing well or not?
So we will look at the economic indicators in Ghana's case. People are fixated on the exchange rate, interest rates, but in truth, the most important economic indicator, number one, is economic growth.
Explain that, please.
Yes. So there are a number of economic indicators. Economic growth, as measured by the GDP, captures economic activity. When the economy is expanding, when it is growing, then businesses are doing well. Then you are creating jobs. So in my Econ 101 class, I will teach that the three most important economic indicators: economic growth, followed by the unemployment rate, then inflation. Those will be in one bracket. Then in the secondary economic indicators will be exchange rate, the stock market index, things like the deficit, trade surplus. That's how we assess every economy in the world.
Does the exchange rate not define economic growth? or cause economic growth?
No. You see, if I asked about the exchange rate between Ghana and Japan, you will not know, because we hardly trade with Japan. A lot of our trading is done in US dollars, so we know about the dollar rate.
Yeah.
Even the pound, not so much. If you go to the US, for example, they don't care about the exchange rates because they are not trading so much with some countries, so they don't know the exchange rate between those countries. So when we are talking about one cedi is $1 is 10 point something, they don't care about it over there. Do you understand? And I argue that our currency right now is overvalued.
Okay.
Our currency is overvalued. There's the dollar.
So it's artificial?
It's not artificial, but there's an optimum that we have to reach. This exchange rate that people are fixated on, it is affecting a lot of exporters. If you speak to Cocoa Board right now, they are really under the strong currency because they get dollars, submit to the Bank of Ghana in exchange for cedis. If the exchange rate went up by another 1 cedi, Cocoa Board is making about 100 million or 120 million cedis. Do you understand?
In losses or in profits?
No, an increase in their income because they are holding on to dollars, which they will submit in exchange for cedis.
Yes.
And they are paying all their creditors in cedis. So Cocoa Board is not happy about the exchange rate. GRA is not. It is affecting their revenues.
So there's a side effect which is negative.
All exporters are reeling under it. So if you are an importer, you understand, you are happy. Even the gold board, if the currency weakens some more, they will not be incurring the losses. So in assessing an economy, don't go to the exchange rate.
So, but when we keep trumpeting we want to be an export-led economy, it means that this is not good for us. If
not at all. Not at all.
This is good for imports economy.
Yes. So
which we don't want to be.
Yes. So if you talk to any exporter, they are not happy. So for the person coming to Ghana on vacation, if the currency is strong, they are not happy. They want to come and exchange and get more cedis.
That's true.
Do you understand? So the US influences their exchange rate for their currency to weaken against China so that goods being sent to China will bring in more revenue for them. The Chinese constantly hold their currency weak so that they will export
always
more.
Benefit.
So this fixation. So back to your question. The current state of the economy, then you look at economic growth and the unemployment rate. Are jobs being created as we were told, the 24-hour economy, 133. I see Educatia is complaining that their people should slow down, the jobs will come. Mustafa Bandi will go. Do you understand? Very soon, their supporters will go after them. Where are the jobs you promised them? Is the economy growing? Our economic growth rate is the least in West Africa. 4.1. Somebody will mention Nigeria, that's 3.9, but Nigeria has a huge base. So if you are measuring economic growth, their denominator is big. Save Nigeria, Ghana is last but one in West Africa. So if I'm looking at the economy and I'm advising, I would say you should not be fixated on the financials and the exchange rate is this, but grow the economy. If the economic growth rate is around 7%, 8%, then you are creating jobs.
Okay, so there's clearly goodwill. People are feeling good. People who are importing are happy. There's stability of the currency and all of that. But you are saying that that would mean nothing if there is no job or the establishment of a new factory, for instance. Then it is pointless.
Yeah. You're not creating it. Everybody wants to go into the public sector. You are churning out about 100,000 graduates a year. How many spaces are there for them? So in the election cycle, it will come to the point then the new clarion call is that who is going to give us jobs? Regardless of what you are doing. And I applaud the government for bringing inflation down. Of course, commodity prices have gone up, gold, cocoa, so we've rigged in a lot. You've seen that about 10 billion that's coming from the gold. And so, yeah, they've used some to stabilize the currency. There's nothing wrong with doing that, stabilizing the currency. It profits importers. But if you want to build an export-led economy, this is not the best way. 10.6 something. I think we should finally settle around maybe 15. There's nothing wrong with that.
We should let the cedi deliberately.
Because you're exporters. Don't you understand? You have exporters, people, mango farmers, you have your cocoa board, you're exporting cocoa, you're exporting gold. Is that not what's driving your economy? And if you want to become an industrial economy...
You have a free zones. Yeah. All of those ones try to export.
Yeah, so they are not happy.
Let's let the cedi slide to
I say the
dollar.
Currency is overvalued. At where it is, it's overvalued. And this, if you really break it down, I don't know if I'm making sense, but what is the trade-off? If you look at the cost-benefit analysis, that's.
Could the jobs be hiding in the road sector, which the government is heavy on, so that you may not see jobs in the sense that they said they will do AMA works in the morning, Kweku in the evening, and Kojo at midnight? So what about the big push? Is that also not leading to economic growth?
So numbers don't lie.
Okay.
In 2024, the industry sector grew by 7.2 under the NPP. In 2025, it grew by 3.1 under the NDC. It means the industrial growth is not happening. The construction subsector of the industry sector in 2024 grew by 9.2. In 2025, it grew by 2.9. So that big push didn't happen in 2025. Otherwise, it will show in the numbers that I'm talking about. So I'm glad the government is ready to roll it out going forward. So I will sit back and look at the 2026 numbers. If we actually roll out the big push and do big infrastructure spending, construction, where a lot of people participate in the economy, we will see these numbers.
Okay. If you were to advise President Mahama, so first of all...
Is it free advice or...?
No, this one is for free. Okay. This one is national service that you're going to render. What should they do so that... Because clearly, that's why what you've said, the current situation is better than we were in 2024, correct?
You know, I applauded them for inflation.
That's what I'm saying. So I'm saying that what should they do so we maintain this level of stability and predictability?
Don't be fixated on the exchange rate. Okay.
No, I mean generally there's predictability.
So, low and stable price level inflation is good because ultimately the prices of goods stay low. The prices are not increasing as fast as we used to see. But roll out the infrastructure spending that you are doing. Don't roll out the infrastructure spending, okay? Don't abandon the Agenda 111. That is also infrastructure spending. Don't abandon the Agenda 111 like we always do. Projects have been started, 111 hospitals. You say, I'm not going to do anything to it.
Even if they are a drain on the economy?
They are not a drain. You are doing infrastructure spending. You are building hospitals. Okay, so stagger them. I'll do 25 this year, something like that. They came and in the first budget, they said, we have cancelled 1D, 1F policy. Does it make sense to you?
Yeah, if for 8 years it didn't make sense, why would it make sense now?
Industries have been created. Jobs have been created. So go back to it, an industrialization policy. Because if you don't give them jobs, the youth out there, they will come after you.
So try and create jobs. Where are the jobs? Where should the government create these jobs from, in your estimation? Because the previous government, the party you belong to, they started something called NAPCO. Nation Builders Corps. No, temporary jobs for 3 years.
Those are not jobs. I argue that thing should be scrapped. Those are not jobs.
So what kind of thing would you recommend is done now?
Go into agriculture. Produce. With the people there, you get them on farms. Bring a sense of state farms, okay? Then agro-processing, okay? It's agriculture, industrialization. That should be the focus. This 24-hour economy and the gold board, the currency, they will not bring you jobs. They will not bring you jobs.
So is it an imagined success, an imaginary or an artificial success?
You see, there's something called good luck, which you mentioned. They enjoyed some good luck.
Goodwill or good luck?
Yeah, there's also goodwill. I was going to talk about the good luck has come from the global prices that have surged gold, cocoa, you know. So you came, those are not under your control. You came into office at a time that the prices of these commodities, oil is still hovering around 60. That which you import some is around 60. That which you are selling, gold is 4,006, cocoa, they are all going up.
So good luck.
So that you have enjoyed some good luck. That's fine. The government has enjoyed some goodwill. Some of the goodwill, I see IPPs, independent power producers, renegotiating the debt owed to them. They are forgiving government about some $250 million. That's the goodwill you have enjoyed from a new government that has come into power. And then the debt exchange, it crystallized around when the government took office. So the debt forgiveness that the NPP had worked on. And there's nothing wrong with enjoying goodwill, good luck, and then some good fortune.
But so what are the good initiatives that the government itself started, which you would say are the result of
there's been some commonsensical things that are being done at finance.
Like?
So, for example, we have always had this gift mix system that everybody has to go through for expenditure controls. The minister has insisted that a lot of the things we do go through gift mix. So if you sit at your ministry and try to award a contract, it will hit a roadblock in the gift mix so that we don't build those arrears that we have routinely built. Procurement authority also has something they call GANEPS, that all procurement should go through the GANEPS. So far, I think about 60% of government procurement goes through it. If they're able to rope everyone in, that's fantastic. Then again, the minister went to Parliament and passed a law that you need commitment authorization from him, every ministry, before you can initiate any contractual award. And I'm telling you, it is giving great results. So these are commonsensical things we should have done a very long time ago.
But this commitment thing you talked about, you think it is good. But is it also not frustrating to the various sectors so that you speak to some ministers and they say to you, we can't do anything because everything has to go through ATO.
But for me,
now, do you not risk building a Kenoforiata who becomes a de facto prime minister?
That is for the minister to answer, not me.
Yeah, I'm saying that you know how these things work. Yeah. If the minister, everything goes through the finance minister.
He has to put in place a system that does not develop a long queue. You know, you have a system that approves this because your budget ceilings are known. So I'm not micromanaging. Yeah. So but what has happened is that when people have exceeded their budget ceilings, they still want to push it through contracts. That one I support the minister.
Do you not make the minister overly powerful, where everything now goes to finance minister?
Because
are there not some things that the minister for, say, I don't know which ministry, but the minister is the one who deals? Because mind you, a party brought into office, the youth want jobs. You should be able to do some things on your own, but if everything must go through a finance minister who may not know the politics of your area or may not necessarily be knowledgeable about how to oil the party machinery,
but
then you run into a problem.
That is why we write a national budget, and then every ministry is giving allocation. So what he's doing is that he's ensuring that you don't exceed the allocations given you. That's all that he's doing. And if the finance minister is not the one supposed to, if you go to Malaysia, the president is also the finance minister, the prime minister is the finance minister. To stop all of these overspending that we have seen, it's the overspending that leads to the overborrowing and the arrears creation, that you come to government the next time and they say there's an arrears of 70 billion and then we go full circle.
And pay all of that. So based on everything you've seen, ATO is forcing?
I don't know. I don't know. I look at the numbers. I'm impressed with low inflation. I see the discipline that has been restored to finance the ministry in what I'm talking about. So those ones, if I was minister, I'm sure I would do the same.
This is Face to Face on Channel 1 Television. Dr. Assibey Yeboah is my guest on Face to Face. He's with Team Kennedy Japan, which is what we're going to talk about next. But it's not every day you get him to talk about the economy, so I just thought I should dig into his brain a bit. We'll be back to talk about the politics of the NPP.
The Sweet Root Secondary School's Wesco Alumni Association invites all alumni to its annual all-year groups Thanksgiving and Remembrance service. There will be remembrance of the departed PACAs and also the launch of the 67th Speech and Prize Giving Day. The date, Sunday the 18th of January 2026. Time, it's 2 p.m. Venue, Cedar Mountain Assemblies of God Church, East Legon. Contact your year group president and register your attendance now. Semper Cum Optimus, always with the best.
Welcome to the Health Quarters Ghana, where medical science meets everyday life. Join Dr. Gideon Assan and the irrepressible Clemento Suarez as they tackle health issues.
My name is Dr. Gideon Assan. I have with me here my co-host, Clemento Suarez.
I knew how it felt anytime I started to feel the pain.
Whether it is hernia, breast cancer, cataracts, or infertility, the show brings together victims to share their real-life stories and experts to debunk myths.
If you wear cotton supporter, and they be a pampers and a benwa or bosom. So you see, instead of it being raw egg, I done it because you know.
Make a date with us every Sunday at 4 p.m. on Channel 1 TV. Don't forget to subscribe on YouTube and all social media platforms at Health Quarters Ghana.
Yeah, welcome back. This is Face to Face on Channel 1 Television. Dr. Mark Assibey Yeboah, you are a politician, a suit-wearing office analysis kind of guy. You are the kind of person that former Deputy Finance Minister Kweku Kwarteng said to me, we are tired of being our leaders. He said, we are tired of the suit-wearing politicians who speak big English. For all intents and purposes, you fit that criteria just like he does. And yet, you want to support one who is not like you. Kennedy Japan. Why, of the 5 candidates, you've decided to support the candidate that Kweku Kwarteng describes as non-suit-wearing, non-English speaking politician?
Maybe it's because Kweku Kwarteng and I have a lot in common. We've seen the numbers, how we've run our economies over time. We need discipline in the system, like we just spoke about. I supported Dr. Bawumia in 2024.
Okay.
Over Kennedy Japan. Ken reached out to me and I said, no, I'm supporting
Bawumia.
Because at the time I felt the NPP had to answer a certain question. We had been tagged an account party. And if you look at the antecedents with Aliu Mahama being sidestepped, a Northern Muslim who was vice president for 8 years, he ran. He came 3rd. So even John Mahama,
I think it was 5th, but anyway,
even President Mahama had said, as for you, Dr. Bawumia, they are just using you. When the time comes, you will not be given the nod. So I felt the NPP, for historical purposes, had to answer that question. And so if we went back to 2024 under the same circumstance, I would have supported him. Let us present a certain vice president, Northern Muslim, who had paid his dues. So we're all for him. I'm sure Kweku Kwarteng, who you interviewed, was also for him.
Yeah.
So then we went into the elections. Now, let me take Bawumia out of the equation, the NPP. Following the elections, I looked at the scorecard. Okay? So you do an exam. So, regional scorecard, 3/16. 3/18.
That's an F9.
18.75%. But we don't do regional elections here, so yeah, that can pass. Parliamentary elections, 88/276. 32%. Then the presidential elections, 41.7%, 41.7 over 100. So that's how I sat back and I looked at.
That's how you blocked it?
Yes, so I looked at it. So this is the performance. That's why I said that's the NPP's performance. Now, there were parliamentary candidates. We won 88. 188 parliamentary candidates lost. There are some of them, if we repeat them, we'll lose again. Some of them too can come back and reclaim the seat. So you also look at that one, constituency by constituency. And we all know, I won't mention this, but there are some of them, I know that if they run again, they will lose the parliamentary elections. So I looked at the 5 candidates, and I'm saying that, okay, based on this performance, the rejection by Ghanaians, if we want to give ourselves an opportunity in 2028, of the 5, who best gives the NPP a chance?
The one who was tried and tested.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Some people might argue that based on this performance, he should be repeated. But when I also look at the number and I analyze data, I interpret same. There was only one region where our votes appreciated, albeit by just 12,000 in the Northeast region. Central, Ahafo, Bono, Western, these were our strongholds. We lost all of them. And now that we are apologizing for our actions, they might forgive us, but will they forget? Okay? So for me, based on the data that I've analyzed, I think Kennedy Yeboah gives the NPP the best. And what he's saying resonates with me.
I'll come back so you explain more why what he says resonates, but just a few things to mop up what you've said. A Muslim ticket, a northern ticket, a sitting vice president, at the time you believe that that was a candidate to go with in 2024. If you don't go for him now, the history of the NPP and the question that you said NPP ought to answer whether or not it's a national party or a party that likes North would still not be answered. And then it will mean that in 2028...
That question is not supposed to be answered by the NPP. It's supposed to be answered by the...
Yeah, but it means that you're going back and proving NPP as being a non-Muslim, non-Northern party.
The NPP gave the Muslim Northern sitting vice president a chance. It was for the Ghanaian people to now install him. So we have answered that question.
But what if his vehicle was bad? So the NPP possibly gave him a poison chalice and said he should drink of it. He drank and he died.
You see, so I don't do these personality things, you understand? So I say I've looked at the data, and based on the data, I'm convinced beyond every doubt. Then let me tell you, of all the 5 aspirants running, each and every one of them reached out to me soliciting my support. You understand? Mm-hmm. I guess most of them believe that this guy will take a back seat, analyze, and then make his choice. Each and every one of them called me. And when I had done all my analysis, I settled on this one. People have their choices. I don't begrudge them, okay? That's why I've told you that 2028, in the natural sequence of things, shouldn't have been an NPP win. It makes it an abnormal election, if you like. You need an unconventional candidate. And for me, that's Kennedy Yeboah. He's not my friend. This thing we do is not about friendship. He's not my friend.
He's not your friend.
I've never been to his house. Save the time that he called me that he wanted us to meet based on this. And we met at Moving Peak Hotel. That's it. You understand?
So
I want the NPP to win power.
There isn't a certain likeness you have for him or a business deal you have.
But the thing we are doing is not about likeness. It's about the ability to win the elections. It's not because that's my friend, and I think I'm even closer to Dr. Bawumia than Kennedy Yeboah. You understand?
So you don't feel like you're a traitor?
Traitor. It's about the NPP. It's about winning power. It's not about, if there are traitors, there are far bigger traitors who you can mention. I don't cozy up to people, you know, what it is that for favors, I don't do that. So that, let any one of them come out and say, they did this and this and this guy. No, that cannot be said of me. You understand? So I have convinced myself that as for me and my house, we shall serve the Lord.
You shall serve Kennedy.
Exactly.
But my question again still remains, Doc. If you looked at the data and the data was bad, did you also ask the data whether it was the driver or the bus that was bad?
You see, we have to delve into the data. I've looked at, for example, Greater Accra region, where Nana Akufo-Addo's 1.2 million votes in 2020
came from,
declined in 2024 to about 600 and something. Greater Accra. If one of the people who follow the issues most, they are the people in the Greater Accra region. Are they going to change with the same candidate? Western region and Central region. Central region, we lost about 250,000 votes. Western region, another about 200,000 votes. If Kennedy Yeboah comes from that area, I think he gives us a fair chance in the Western Central area.
Yeah, but the question you are not answering, and I'm going to repeat it one more time and hope that you'll give me an answer. It was the performance of the NPP that was put on the ballot paper in 2024.
Whose performance?
Not the NPP government led by Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, not Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. He just happened to be. So imagine the race where they hold a poll and give to each other. I've forgotten what it's called, relay or something. I've forgotten. The one they give torch and pass on. If the first guy who picked the baton did not get there early, you would be the last to pick the baton, and no matter how fast you ran.
So what is going to be the new message?
I don't know.
So I think let's fashion out a new candidate with a fresh new message. You know, if he comes and he also doesn't perform, we drop him.
Do you have time?
Once we are alive, we'll be going through these elections over and over.
But there are people who say that, listen, you have marketed this guy, you spent money to market him. Why do you have to leave someone you marketed already?
But the data does not respond to that.
Just one election cycle? Is that fair?
The data. The NPP has never had more resources in an election than they did in the last one. I have been a parliamentary candidate twice. The amount of resources the parliamentary candidates got in the last election, it's never happened in the life of the NPP. Where are you going to get the resources now to give them?
What is your response to the story that Atta Mills went so many times? Kufuor went twice. John Mahama went, 4 times? Nana Akufo-Addo has been going since 97. And that Bawumia would also become president if you give him another chance like you've given that.
How many chances should we give?
You just gave him 1.
So Mahama did 4.
Yes.
Mahama has done 4 elections. He's won 2. Akufo-Addo did 3. He won 1. Atta Mills did 3. So are we giving him this chance and another, or what? Or just one more chance? He makes it for us.
I don't know. I'm just saying that. So I want to know what your response.
I'm not looking at chance. I want to win the elections in 2028.
Yes, but the people who win will say.
But when we go by this one had 4 and this one had 3, it means that should we be going and going and going and going? I'm saying that if Kennedy Yeboah runs and he doesn't win, then NPP should drop him the next time.
Okay, let's talk about the Kennedy Yeboah that you say you are not friends. So what about him and not Kwabena Yeboah, not Educhum, not Dr. Brian Champon, who is from your region? Why not them?
So what he's saying resonates with me. I am hazarding a guess that the next elections will be run on jobs and galamsey.
Okay.
That is what I am saying. And he's been talking about this. He's laying emphasis on agriculture and agro-processing. Even in the primaries, you see he's passionate about it. And the things he says are pragmatic. It's not the textbook suit wearing. I identify with that. Because I see the teeming unemployed youth on the streets. And how are we able to transition into a new phase in our economy where now we create jobs from what he's saying? I'm not talking about what he has created on his own, but what he's talking about, okay? The last election, if you pigeonhole the NPP, they would have said, oh, we're talking about digitalization, okay? So somebody is talking about industrialization, agro-processing, and all that. That's fine. I see that he's honest. And he has some discipline. Let me tell you, of all the people the NDC could put up for president, and all the 5 people the NPP have put up running, if there's one person who can tell Ghanaians that he will stop Galamsey and they will believe, it's Kennedy Yeboah.
Why?
Because the Ghanaian people see that discipline. If Kennedy says that he's going to curb Galamsey, the Galamseyers themselves will tell themselves, that if this guy comes, we can't do it again.
What if it's just muff? You can't.
That's why I'm saying I have seen the discipline in him. He doesn't tolerate nonsense.
It's easier said than done, Doc.
Well, he's been MP for 6 times, isn't it? He's been around. It's not that he's just come on the scene and then he's just...
he has never held a ministerial position.
You don't need that one.
Where we will see his competence at work.
Let me tell you, the MP position is a bigger one than a ministerial position.
Yes, but you don't manage people.
You have directors. Everybody who has been in government in this MPP, I know. There are people sitting down and people are writing things for them. They are reading speeches. What are they managing?
What I'm saying is that if you have been a minister before...
Listen, the president can decide, Mahama can decide to make Lordina a minister and make his brother Ibrahim a minister. As for being a minister in our scheme of things, it doesn't mean anything. If you are made a minister, so you are what?
No, if you are made a minister, we see government policy, we see how you drive that policy, we see the fruits that come from that work. Then we can say that when this guy was there, we can even check what time do the workers in that office report to work.
That's what a minister
they could a minister goes to a ministry and there are reforms, and you know this. And
there are ministers who have underperformed, and the presidents have defended them.
Yes,
everybody says kick this person out. So
I'm saying that
the evaluation is done by a certain person. You think all these DCs around town, they are doing something?
What I'm saying,
they are political appointees.
Yeah, what I'm saying, Doc, is that if the president says you are working and you are not working, at the end of the day, your work will show, right?
Will show to who?
People, the ordinary people will see.
But they don't appoint and disappoint you.
No, I'm saying that now that Ken is going to an election,
yes,
if he had ever taken up a ministerial position or even a CEO position,
he was board chair.
Yeah, but not CEO. Board chair, of course, we do know, but you are not the direct person who is running an organization. You have been board chair. It doesn't make you the CEO.
That's why.
So my point is that he hasn't been tested in people management, in the public office, in policy generation and execution. How do you trust such a person who has never taken up any position, not a CEO, not a deputy minister, not a minister, not a DCA? You entrust that person with the presidency of the Republic of Ghana. Nana Akufo-Addo was minister. Akufo-Addo was minister.
Yeah, can I answer?
Mahama was deputy minister, minister.
Can I answer?
Vice president. Yes.
I have not been a DCA.
Yes.
I have not been a deputy minister. I have not been a minister. I have not been a deputy CEO. I have not been a CEO. But you said you trust my judgment.
Yes.
So that answers
because you are book long. You are economist.
It is the book long people that we don't even need. It's the book long people. The suits wearing, those are the people we don't even need.
So I'm mistaken in my judgment?
Yes.
I'm not mistaken in the fact
don't think that when you elect a president, he alone is sitting somewhere and decide. There are so many things happening today. Mahama doesn't know a thing about it. You put together a team, a government, to help you govern.
Okay. You said I'm mistaken, but there's one thing I'm not mistaken is that it's time to take a break. And when we come back, I'm going to ask the question of the character of the man that Dr. Assibey Yeboah supports. How do you deal with that? And if he becomes president, how can you manage him? You said you want someone who disrupts the system. Should the system really be disrupted? Please stay.
It really hurts, but who's hurting more if we do not forgive others of their sins? Some they don't even know. This week, join Bishop Fred Kwanche-Mensah on Lifeline as we talk about forgiveness, what it is, what it isn't, and why it isn't for them.
You know, it's a new year. A lot of people are setting goals. A lot of people are excited. But the question is that, did you really and actually leave 2025 and its emotional baggage? In 2025, A lot of people have gotten into the new year, but they came with some baggage, resentment. If you hold bitterness, if you hold unforgiveness in your heart, it causes a lot of damage to yourself. I heard one great leader says, unforgiveness is like drinking poison and expecting the offender to die.
Lifeline airs on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 10 p.m. only on Channel 1 TV.
You're welcome back. This face-to-face on Channel 1 Television. Dr. Assibey Yeboah, so you're saying that in the future, if history is being recounted, it would be said that you wanted Kennedy Yeboah to be president of this country. Whether or not he wins is a different matter. I'm just saying that if we're looking at history, I mean, one day, that's what we would see. The character of Kennedy is something that you would see on the internet if you were to Google. Just Google Kennedy Yeboah character. I don't know, so a lot of things may pop up. How do you deal with that person whom you cannot control? You said that he cannot be controlled.
I didn't say he cannot be controlled.
You said that he is feared by the galamseyers,
yes,
that he would make sure he does what he wants to be doing. So it means that whatever, Osia or your, right?
Yeah.
Such a person, how do you, because he's in a system, and we know that our governments are an establishment that you have to be a part of. If he decides to go rogue, how do you deal with him?
I have seen him in controlled mode.
Okay.
In the last few months to 1 year.
Was it artificial?
Yeah, but then it means he can be controlled, isn't it?
Because he's looking for something?
Well,
power.
So
and he gets it, and then he shows us where power lies.
Once he gets it, he has to hold on to it. So, yeah. So, yeah, he's put together a campaign council, and I've seen eminent people in there who counsel him, who talk to him, who draw up programs for him and advise him. And so I think it will be the same when I would rather have a Kennedy Yeboah who delivers, than someone who comes to do the same everyday politics that we've known over the years. And I'm telling you something, Kennedy Yeboah is a better man than Donald Trump.
Really?
Yes. I'm telling you, Kennedy Yeboah is a better man than that. And when Donald Trump had finished his first term, the Americans kicked him out after his first term. Yet, they had seen him at work as a president. But they went back to him that if this man is coming to restore our economy, we'll rather have him plus all his negatives. And this is the free world. So if Donald Trump can be president of the States and go and come back after 4 years, I'm fine with Kennedy Yeboah.
You said that he's not your friend. How regularly do you interact with him since you decided to be with him on this campaign trail?
So, they have been on the road. You have to do 276 constituencies, and then sometimes you go for months before you come into town.
So you are not part of the campaign trail?
The trouble,
You don't go. But you have to appear on those places and show to the people that what being our economy, but you are supporting.
But that's why I'm here.
Okay, so I mean, but you don't do the groundwork. So how regularly do you interact with him?
Yeah, that's why I said he has a campaign council of which I'm a member. So when he comes to town and time permits, we meet together with Dr. KK Sapon and Kweku Kwatin and all the people that fantastic people. They are all supporting Kennedy Yeboah. They believe in him. They think we can tame him. When he gets power, he'll put together a fantastic team and then deliver.
And this is not out of being aggrieved by the fact that you were, quote unquote, dumped by the Akufo-Addo administration, which Dr. Bawumia belonged to, in that you were removed from parliament and you also didn't become a minister.
But I started the interview by telling you that I supported Dr. Bawumia in 2024. Have you forgotten?
Yeah, but again, the question would
Yes,
be,
so
at the time he was establishment candidate.
Yeah, but
NPP, but now there's free will.
From your preamble, it didn't make sense for me to support him at the time. I had left parliament since 2021. I was not part of the government. What would have been the attraction to an Akufo-Addo supported candidate at the time? I said at the time we had to answer a certain question in the NPP.
And that question you thought you had to
We've
answer.
answered that one.
How do you think Kennedy Yeboah can create jobs for Ghana? For which reason you are supporting him?
But we've gone over this one. I told you that there's a focus on agriculture, industrialization, export-led growth, driven with the passion that he talks about these things. And he's already on his own doing a lot in terms of lands he's acquiring for ethanol and all of these things. You know, I don't want to rely on his personal things, but the blueprint that he's shared, that we've discussed, that is what.
In 2023, when Dr. Bawumia was campaigning, NDC people said to become flag bearer. NPP people said if Dr. Bawumia was elected, NDC, all they needed to do, and in fact some of NPP people said that, all NDC needed to do was to buy megaphones and speakers and hire a DJ and give Dr. Bawumia's voice or soundbite to them to be playing, and that's enough campaign. The same thing can be said of Kennedy Yeboah, that the NDC can simply go and get a DJ with big speakers and let them start playing voices from Kennedy Yeboah. Voices such as NPP for Jimmy, those kind of things that he used to say.
So
would that not come back to haunt the candidate?
So the megaphones they used to play those voices of Dr. Bawumia in 2024, are they bad from repeating same in 2028?
No, maybe people have heard they are tired now, but Kennedy will be new.
But some of these Kennedy things, this is not the first time he's running for president, don't you know?
Yes.
He ran in the primaries,
Yes.
and the same things were said of him.
Yes, but he didn't win. He became, you see,
But
if you
every-
become the face of the party,
But every
then there will be a
every
deliberate
Ghanaian-
effort to damage you by the
Every
opposition.
Ghanaian knows Kennedy's stance and his utterances. They were in the past. I think his mood. Last time I saw him in a charismatic something, I say, hey, this man has really, you know, I didn't go
There's
to
a video, and Bawumia people have showed video of him insulting people who go to church.
Yeah,
and yet
yeah.
he goes to organize a church service at UPSA. That is an inconsistent character. And you are supporting inconsistency.
No, the same things that you have said of other candidates. The positions people take over time, they play in the NDC. In the NDC. There would be videos of what people have said.
Yeah, but that's politics of convenience. You shouldn't be supporting that.
No. You should even applaud me for supporting Kennedy Yeboah that this man has a mind of his own. He doesn't think that this thing will work.
Yeah, but if he thought, for instance, that going to church was a waste of time and there's a video...
But you
of
don't
him
go
saying
to
that-
church. So if somebody also says that going to church is blah, 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 yeah, that's his opinion.
No, I'm saying that, but if he says that going to church was a waste of time and then you organize a mega church service, then you will be questioned. If I don't believe that eating pork is good as a Muslim, and I organize a pork festival...
But if you didn't believe that 10 years ago and now you've seen that it's a delicacy and now you want to eat, what's wrong with that?
Or now because I've seen that I'll get votes from it, so I'm now...
The last time, with all the things you are saying, he got 37% in the NPP. With all the things that people are highlighting and the noise they are making, he got 37%.
What are the numbers saying to you now? What percentage do you estimate he would get?
I want a win by Kennedy Yeboah.
Are you confident that he will win?
I won't put myself to this if I didn't believe in his candidature.
If he doesn't win, then what?
Please, I'm not one of those people that... the last time we didn't win,
Yes.
MPP, in my lifetime, since I've lived in Ghana, I've tasted, I wouldn't say even taste, I've lived under I've always been MPP, but I've seen MPP in power for only 8 years. That is under Akufo-Addo. Because when Akufo was president, I was not in Ghana. And even under Akufo-Addo's president, I was in opposition.
Yes, you were. I remember.
So what is it about me that you can't fry things in front of you? Yeah, man, they don't mean anything to me. They don't move
so
me.
You are down. You don't fear no fall.
He who is down. Me that from team.
So for you are there. If Ken wins, fine. If he doesn't win, too, it's up to him.
If any of the Baumia wins, we'll support him. Will campaign for him. I was the chairman of his economic manifesto team.
Yes, I remember that.
If he calls me that, can you do this again for us? Why not? That's if he wins. Do you understand? I want the person who gives the NPP the best shot at 2028.
Whoever wins for you on 31st January, the issue of party unity comes up. Are you sure the party will be united around that person?
The NPP has always galvanized around their leader. This time, we have a longer period to do that. We'll have 3 years before the elections to then if you're MPP and you will not support whoever wins, what will you do? Even us, we didn't live to that distance. We stayed in MPP.
Dr. Mark Assibey Yeboah, former MP, member of the Kennedy Japan campaign team. Thank you so much for joining us on Primaries.
Thank you.
And wish you all the best.
Thank you.
I am Umar Sandamado. This has been Face to Face on Channel 1 Television. We'll be back next week with more. Please.
It's time to promote volunteerism, active citizenship, and patriotism in Ghanaian society,
where we shine the spotlight on the unsung heroes among us.
Today, we're not just launching a program, we're igniting a revolution of skills, dreams, and hope.
On Volunteers TV, we highlight and celebrate people and groups that are great examples to us all.
Every single region in Ghana, we're doing something.
Good.
So no one's being left behind.
Over 800 kids that come to school, so having an extra classroom, extra resources will be really, really beneficial.
If you're a volunteer, you are actually serving because you are giving up your time and resources for nothing in return.
Volunteers TV, Sunday at 6:30 p.m. only on Channel 1 TV.
Hello, dear one. I welcome you to Lifeline. I am Fred Crunchy Mensah, your host. One of my favorite characters in the Bible will be David, because David was a real man with real issues who was looking for a real God who could give him real solutions. In one of his Psalms, he said, "Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I fear no evil because you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me." In life, sometimes we go through the valley experience. But David said, "I will not respond with fear. I will rather respond with faith, because God's rod and his staff, these two things represent the word of God." He says his word will comfort me and his word will guide me. That's what we are here to do for you and with you. You are not going anywhere as usual, because we are coming back with a very, very relevant theme and a subject that will bless your year. We will be back.
Welcome to The Point of View. This is your favorite current affairs show here on Channel 1 Television. On The Point of View, we pick the right topics, get the right guests, and ask them relevant questions on issues that matter to you.
With the complexities of the issues happening around us on a daily basis, it's the hard-hitting conversations and the probing questions of The Point of View.
So what is the Public Account Committee's job?
So what we do is to scrutinize, clarify, and find out why certain infractions have been made.
What do these IMF programs try to do?
The current program is for budget support.
Okay.
There are no projects attached.
That teases apart the twisted entanglements of politics and governance, as well as religious and social discourse. The Point of View brings you the policymakers and duty bearers and drills down to the very bottom of issues.
What authority do you have?
The Point of View airs every Monday and Wednesday at 9 p.m. only on Channel 1 TV.
Welcome back, dear friend, and I want to wish you a glorious, happy New Year. It's 2026 and we are excited to be alive. See, as long as you are alive, I tell people that every day over 135,000 people sleep and they don't wake up with us. So the gift of life is the greatest gift. I am excited to be alive in 2026 and I charge you also to be excited. Wise King Solomon said the other day that a living dog is better than a dead lion. Happy, happy New Year. Today we want to go into a very important Christian theme, a very important Christian subject, which will be very relevant to your year 2026. You know, it's a new year. A lot of people are setting goals. A lot of people are excited. I know that a couple of days ago in church, the pastor gave you prophecies. So we all have goals, we have hopes, we have aspirations, we have prophecies. We are believing God for positive things to happen. But the question is that, did you really and actually leave 2025 and its emotional baggage in 2025? A lot of people have gotten into the new year, but they came with some baggage. They came with some emotional loads, things they have not resolved in the past, anger they have not resolved, offenses they have not forgiven, things people have done to us that we have not really dealt with, and unfortunately, we entered 2026 with it. We want to help you to deal with something very important called forgiveness. Forgiveness. It is so important that Jesus spent a lot of time talking about it. In Colossians chapter 3 and verse 1, the Bible says, forgive people as God forgives you. That is a very wonderful and a very demanding talk from God. He says, just as I have forgiven you, you will have to forgive others. Forgiveness is something you should have done in 2025, but it is never too late. In Isaiah chapter 43 verse 18, God says to the nation of Israel, he says, remember not the former things, neither consider the things of old. Behold, I do a new thing. In other words, God is saying, even before you believe me for something new, even before you will set your goals, even before you will focus on your vision for 2026, even before you will run with the prophecy, the vision, the dream, remember not the former things, neither consider the things of old. He is saying that you will not do well in the new if you have not dealt with the old. So he says, remember not. I know that some of us have pains. I know that some of us have very difficult emotions. We are trying hard to process. We are trying hard to deal with. But God is saying, do not remember the former things. In other words, deal with the past hurts. Resolve the anger that burns you. That negative emotion that keeps coming and stealing your peace and your joy, deal with it. Even before you start thinking about the new thing God is going to do. I promised you, based on the integrity of the Word of God, God is indeed going to do new things in the year 2026. I believe God, this year is going to be your best year. I believe God, He has already started doing some beautiful, wonderful, and glorious things in your life. But first of all, we need to deal with that emotional baggage, that excess load, that load that makes you wake up unsettled, that makes you go to bed sad. We need to deal with it. What is forgiveness? What is forgiveness? I've been asking myself, what is forgiveness? And how important is that to our Christian life? First of all, let me say to you, forgiveness is consciously and you intentionally giving up the resentment you have and the desire to revenge the offenses done to you in the past and also in the present. Let me go through that again. It is your conscious and intentional desire to drop those charges against the offenders, the resentment, the desire to revenge, the desire to hit back those who have offended you, even when they do not deserve forgiveness. And please take note of that. Even when they do not deserve it, because sometimes we are waiting for people to come to us and apologize. We are waiting for people to have a behavior modification. We are waiting for people to change before we forgive them. The definition is that even if they have not repented, even if they have not modified their behavior, even if you think they don't deserve it, forgiveness is my decision to drop the charges, to drop that negative feeling I have when I remember the offense, to drop that desire to hit back at them.